Hey there guys, Tom here. Welcome back to my video channel. Thank you very much for joining me. This is Ali and this is episode 3 of WandaVision. First of all, this review will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, I don't know what you're doing. Watch the episode. And if you haven't been here before, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on my take on all things streaming services. So episode 3 of WandaVision. This is actually... listen, I loved episodes 1 and 2, the black and white, the aspect ratio, the homage to, well, not even, you can't really call it an homage, they straight up did 50s and 60s sitcoms.
That's what an homage is.
No, but it's they just straight up did it. They didn't, it's not like, oh, we just did little hints to it here and there. They just straight up did it.
I think we have very different ideas of what an homage is.
I think we do too. But episode 3 went like full Brady Bunch.
There's a lot of Brady Bunch-esque things, like obviously, so the opening is a mix, so many, like Brady Bunch, Happy Days.
All of them.
Yeah, and I know some Laverne and Shirley in there. If you were a famous sitcom in the 60s and 70s, WandaVision probably referenced you today. And like the house in the show that they've got.
Oh, it's so Brady Bunch.
It's so Brady Bunch. I would not be shocked if it were just a straight replica of the house.
I don't think it is, but I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, the stairs especially. And
the
like
stairs
the sunken living room.
and the coloured panels up the top.
Of course, that's also just how the 70s be going. That's how I talk now.
Can we talk about the opening songs? Because I didn't talk about it last week.
Yeah. And
I really should have. It was one of the things I was going home and I'm like, oh, I should have talked about it. I love what they're doing with the opening songs. You know, I thought, oh, maybe they just do it with the first episode, you know, just for a bit of a fun thing. But they're clearly going to be doing it for each episode as we get into different eras. And I love it. I love what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's really clever and a lot of fun.
So at the end of episode 2, turns to colour, Wanda's pregnant. And we open this episode and she's pregnant. And I love Paul Bettany in this episode. Because I love Vision being surprised by... I mean, even like in the Avengers movies and in Civil War, like anytime Vision was perplexed by something or surprised by something, they always played it for comedy because it was hilarious. And when he goes out the door, he comes back in and Wanda suddenly begins like, oh, good Nelly, you got bigger. He's so
great in this.
He's so good.
Like, look, I like him as Vision in the movies. I don't think they necessarily give him a lot to do, but that's because it's such a large cast. He and Lizzie Olsen just have so much time to shine in this, and it's awesome.
I would watch, like, forget that it's Wanda and Vision set in the MCU. If this was, and I'm not kidding, if this was just a sitcom with those two... Oh, yeah. Like, forget everything else. Like, give me that all day.
The cast,
I want just
generally, so far... has just been outstanding and I love it, but we should get into actually what happens in episode 3 because right now we're just talking the show generally.
Well, yeah, we could.
I just want to...
We could,
you
know.
Talk about
this is my video. We talk about what I want to talk about and we go in the direction I want to go. Excuse me.
That's very close to how Wanda is treating
I know we're in I know we're in your house, but you know.
Wanda's like, oh, you mentioned Ultron, get out.
That, by the way, when she was like, oh, Pietro, who's my brother, and then, oh yeah, he was killed by Ultron. And apparently I ruined the entire mystique of the show for Ali when I said that's Monica Rambeau, which had been publicly announced.
I don't pay attention to it because I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you should announce, you know, that stuff when the show has clearly structured it so that you don't know it's Monica Rambeau when she's introduced.
Yeah, but it is, and they announced it.
I don't care. This is like if M. Night Shyamalan, not to this degree, was advertising The Sixth Sense and was like, okay, and also... Bruce Willis, he's dead the whole time.
I haven't seen The Sixth Sense. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so... No, but you can feel in this episode they're starting to turn a corner, I guess, with where this is going. Because clearly, and you could gather this from just the show in general, that they're clearly trapped somewhere. Whether that's Wanda's doing. Now, with what's revealed at the end of episode 3, it looks like it's some government facility. So clearly this isn't all Wanda. Because I thought, oh, it's all Wanda and she's trapped everyone in this reality.
I think there's like a little bit of that still. Like, we don't know yet. So she could be having this reality that's branching outwards, that's like threatening the world or something like that. And I'm just spitballing here, but they've contained it in these like electric walls, whatever you want to call them, a fancy term that MCU will make up.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with speculating right now, but I think that she's still obviously controlling significant aspects of it. So I think
she can clearly rewind.
Yeah, and there was a great like little jump cut thing that you thought my internet was bad.
I legit thought, oh, Ali's like sat on the remote.
I was so offended.
I looked up and I'm like, did you sit on the damn remote? Did you change something? Did you rewind it? I don't know. I thought she just heard a funny line and skip backwards. But I don't know. I do that. But the whole having the baby thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. And then every time she had a contraction, the power went out, and Vision going to get the doctor, and then running like.
I really enjoy this goes back to I guess the homage, pastiche, whatever you want to call it, of like those old school special effects that that's used. Like you can tell, you can see the strings when she's moving stuff and stuff like that.
Could you see this? I didn't see the strings.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can tell it's practical, but
yeah, there's some little bits. I'm not saying it's obvious.
But like the obvious like green screen.
The bad green screen, yeah,
that was cool. Green screen.
And like the running effect on him is just.
It was very
very
outdated.
Of the time, and I like that.
Yeah, I loved the Vision. In the beginning where she was like, you better turn back into yourself, or you better change back or whatever, like. And then I just think it's really interesting where they're going, and I'm really excited to see where they go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what this actually does for Vision as a character.
Because he doesn't know what's going on, clearly. He's more confused than anyone else is.
But I also, I really love this idea that the Vision that as an audience we see in most of the Avengers see is this fairly straight-laced sort of fellow. But clearly Wanda's version of him is so different. That she's created, or maybe he's just like that to her.
He's clearly not. I mean, we said this last week. I mean, he's clearly not actually there.
Yeah, but if it's some projection that she's created, it says a lot about how she views him as a person or robot.
Yes. The question is, now they mentioned Pietro.
Yeah.
If she's creating this,
will we see him?
Does she create him?
I like the idea, and I would very much like to see that.
Because really, if this show is about exploring Wanda's trauma of losing Quicksilver, losing Vision, having all that stuff happen to her,
and also she kind of caused the Civil War.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's kind of to me it just makes perfect sense if Aaron Taylor-Johnson shows up. Yeah,
doing the accent.
Yeah, the first thing out of his mouth is, you didn't see that coming? I just it winks at the camera,
I would love that.
I just thought maybe if, because, if she can create Vision, clearly, because I don't believe for a second he's actually really back. And I did love when he's talking to the neighbors and they're like, oh, Geraldine's here. And he's like, oh, and then clearly the neighbors know, because they were saying well, because we're what? Well, because we're, and then Catherine Hahn's looking at the neighbor shut up.
So I'm thinking, right now, theory time.
Yeah.
And I think you're on the same wavelength as me.
Yeah, I am.
That they're figments of her imagination. She's invented them in this world.
She's invented the neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, this plays into my theory about her little imagination kind of spreading out and taking over the world, hence the electric fences, that these are real people who have been kind of mind controlled, which she has done previously in Age of Ultron.
True.
Whatever happens next, I'm going to be disappointed that my thing didn't happen.
Yeah. And that's the problem with theories, people.
Yeah. Please don't be disappointed when your specific theory happens. I'm just having fun here. And Monica Rambeau has infiltrated.
Yeah, that's clearly, theory. And clearly Wanda kicked her out, which is why when Vision came back and said, where is she? And she said, well, she had to leave in a hurry.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Vision was standing outside, so he would have seen her leave. But, that's why it's so funny. But I think episode 4, I think we're going to get... What era are we up to now in episode 4? What era are we going to be in? So
if this is
70s.
So if we're doing Brady Bunch, like 60s to 70s in terms of, I think sitcoms are quite similar.
Yes.
But we're probably looking at late 70s, 80s now.
Yeah. It's sort of not even like, they sort of don't even do a decade. It's like a decade and a half.
Yeah, because, I mean, things don't have a sudden shift when you go from like 89 to 90.
No.
So
no.
That makes sense to me.
It'll be when they get to like the 2000s and you have this like Modern Family era where she's talking to the camera like a mockumentary.
I didn't even think of that. Oh, I can't wait. I hope that happens.
Or like I wonder what they're going to do with like a Friends kind of intro. I was thinking like 90s sitcoms like Friends or Seinfeld or...
I haven't even... Oh my God. If they did a Seinfeld thing, I would lose my shit. You know this.
That would be funny. I want to know what you guys think is going to happen in the next episode. Because I think episode 4, I think we're really going to... Like episode 3, we turned the corner a little bit. We got a little bit more context. And I think in episode 4, I think we're going to get a lot more context. I think you're going to see a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. or S.W.O.R.D. or whatever the group is called now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm as I said, I'm loving this show. I loved episode 3. I can't wait for episode 4. Bring it on. WandaVision.
Yay!
So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button, ring that notifications bell so you never miss out on Ali's takes on all things WandaVision. My name is Tom. That's Ali. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.